Sup, Eli Hodap?
Hey dude, how's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. I want to play the latest Gameloft release for all the folks out there in internet land, Wild Blood.
Oh, we don't have a title screen. I didn't even know what this was.
Yeah, well, there is a little bit of a cutscene here. I restarted the first chapter. Didn't wipe my progress in terms of like my equipment and stuff.
So we should back it up a little bit and be like, this is the legendary Unreal Engine Gameloft game that has been discussed in rumors and whispers
for a really long time.
It feels like years now, right?
Yeah, it's been forever. But this is one of their Unreal games.
A lot of people thought like the Modern Combat game was going to be Unreal, Modern Combat 3 or whatever. Since that's like their big, I guess, I don't know, would you call that a big series of theirs?
Yeah, I mean, it's big enough to get like PSN releases and stuff like that.
Here's what I think about that game, and this is kind of vaguely related but unrelated at the same time, but we're watching a cutscene, so who cares? But is the Modern Combat games big because Modern Warfare is big?
Yeah.
Or do you, like there's any redeeming qualities of those games?
I don't think there are any redeeming qualities. I played through a couple of them, and they're if you can get more scripted than Modern Warfare, which actually you can, Modern Combat is it. I mean, it's just like straight up like, it's almost Infinity Blade. It's really weird to play one of those games. I just don't see anything. I mean, I think people are just like, hey, it's a modern fighting game.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so limp on that genre as a whole. It seems like.
Yeah. I guess that's a good note to kind of go on here. I can't tell what game they're aping here with Wild Blood. So I think this might be a
allegedly it's original.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. I mean, this is an original release from Gameloft. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, it combines a lot of aspects. I mean, it's kind of like almost Darksider-ish in its approach, like in terms of like the different things it takes. I mean, it's got a little bit of God of War. It's got a little bit of Infinity Blade. You know, I mean, it's doing everything. But it is its own thing. It's a video game where you play as Lancelot, by the way, if you didn't catch that.
Oh, cool.
Against an angry King Arthur.
Yeah, I don't know how much shit you can give Gameloft for, combining all sorts of game elements. I mean, when you look at, Darksiders 2 is a perfect example. I mean, that's Prince of Persia, Zelda, a bunch of other stuff, too, that I can't think of because it's morning. Yeah,
no, I mean, yeah, and they did it well. They did it well, and they presented a package that people want. And this is kind of like that. It's real easy, too. I don't know if you can see what it's hard. You can't see my hands, but I'm just thumping on the attack button. This is the first level, so it's giving me this is kind of a tutorial here. The only thing I can do right now is attack. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more freedom as we move along.
So is this pretty? What you've played, has this been pretty linear so far? I mean, it looks like you're in a definite corridor here of monsters you're fighting.
Very linear. Just as bad as Infinity Blade, I guess you could say. I mean, and bad loosely. I mean,
I guess Infinity Blade's linear by design, though.
Right, exactly. I mean, like, it's as gated as Infinity Blade is, except you just kind of have the freedom of combat movement, like you aren't.
Now, how do you feel about the camera controls in this game?
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. I mean, I'm having... I've been playing a lot more of this behind the scenes, too, and I man, it is really hard to babysit cameras in these kinds of video games.
I think it's just an iOS limitation, the more I think about it.
Oh really?
If you're playing this game on your Xbox 360, you would the camera would follow the back of your dude, but you would just kind of effortlessly move it around with the joystick while you
Right. Yeah.
Still have your hands on the trigger buttons and everything else.
Right.
As opposed to this, you need to do what? I'm guessing like an awkward middle fingery swiping motion.
Basically, yeah, and you have to be careful not to hit. Yeah. So IAP in this game, I think it's going to launch at $9.99. Which is a lot of money to then turn around and ask players to...
Well,
yeah.
I mean, how optional is the IAP though so far?
I have no idea.
Gameloft kind of... They seem to put, like the consumable cheater IAP in all their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I don't know. Have you come across anything so far that actually requires a premium currency, or is it all just coins?
Now, there is no premium currency as far as I can tell, which is neat. No dual currency.
Yeah.
And I guess I should mention that the gear that my dude has on here appears to be the gear you're going to be carrying for the rest of the game. There is no loot system. The only thing you can do is add skins to your weapon. So you can just make it look different as opposed to actually getting different items. And that costs a lot of gold. I think the highest sword is 50,000. It's a significant amount.
Are you with me in that you think no loot system is better than a mediocre, clunky loot system?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because, man, Darksiders 2, holy
Again, yeah.
shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only thing that's interesting about Darksiders 2 loot system is the hardcore like red weapons, possessed weapons. You know, feeding other weapons into your possessed weapon to get a very specific kind of possessed weapon. That's pretty cool. But the rest of the loot, pretty lame.
Yeah, but you're talking about like something very, very specific in the end game of that game that you need to deal with like the wacky loot system for, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 hours maybe.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, thank the maker.
When you say people, they drop gold, which is pretty nice. I like bags of gold.
Here's something kind of interesting about this. Do you notice it looking necessarily any better than like Unity games now?
I don't. It seems like, and maybe it's just the nature of the level. The lighting seems a little weird.
I mean, like, I'm just thinking back to, what was their Zelda-like game, Sacred Odyssey or whatever?
Oh, right, yeah.
And other similar games. I mean, this, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of fanfare about the Unreal Engine, but I feel like Unity is basically just as good these days.
Yeah, Unity has really stepped up their game in a pretty serious way. Let's take a look at some of the stuff you can buy here, the skins. So here's your normal sword, here's your normal armor, and you can buy different stuff. So you can look like a demon hunter, or you can get a demon hunter blade, and you can get the big daddy here, the Shadow Warrior.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Well, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, you know, like the premise is kind of unique too. So King Arthur goes nuts because Lancelot here is hanging out with Guinevere a little too much, I guess you could say. And so King Arthur decides to, I think he imprisons Guinevere and then lets demons into his realm. So you're Lancelot, you come back to Camelot, and you're like, whoa, hey, what happened here? I better take care of this and save my king's queen.
So, I mean, my issue with this game so far, from what I see, is it's just monster gates.
Yep. That's all it is.
I guess that's cool, but
It's got a weird two-human mechanic, too. I don't know if you can really tell here. But whenever I hit attack, and if I'm anywhere near close to a dude, it'll just, like, he'll just slide over to him.
well, I think that's good in an iOS game, you know,
Yeah.
'cause, especially when you're dealing with like needing to, you know, have infuriatingly difficult controls sometimes to make these games work.
Well, you know, the unfortunate part is, like, okay, so, you know, you see these ranged fellas, the dudes with the bow and arrow, right? Like, the problem that I've been noticing as I play progressively is, you know, I want to get rid of the archers first, because those dudes are just going to destroy me while I'm killing everything else, right? At range, I can't even touch them. So whenever I'm trying to slide over to them and, like, get them, like, the auto-lock will, like, slide on to, like, somebody who's, you know, nearer to me, right? So I'm constantly...
Have you come across any kind of manual targeting system, like maybe taps or anything like that?
I haven't noticed. I haven't been able to pull that off. So I mean, like, I've just been having a hard time trying to get to the archer and attack them because my dude constantly just turns around and hits whatever else is closest. You know, it's like, it's kind of a bummer just trying to navigate that itself. But I mean, otherwise, you get a decent amount of movement. I mean, this guy, the butcher or the mutilator, whatever he's supposed to be, reminds me of the first Diablo boss.
Well, yeah, but I'm not sure the first Diablo boss just stood there while you beat on him.
He's you know, like he has like really slow movement speed here, so I'm supposed to be able to slide around him and stuff like that. Which, you know, I think that says a little something about the game that I can actually move around this guy somewhat.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. This it's interesting. Wild Blood is an interesting video game, and I'm not quite sure it's clicking with me, but I have a feeling that quite a few people are going to dig this.
I gotta give him points for not like taking the horn route though, and like just, you know, aping Infinity Blade combat.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like whether that's a good thing or a bad thing with how this game actually plays out over the long term. Like, it's, I guess, nice to see them try something new.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the thing I really don't like about this game, monetizing health potions.
Yeah, that always kind of rubs me the wrong way.
I don't like it, man, because that's scary, because you don't know what the boundaries of the in-game economy are, right? So you're always afraid to be like, man, should I buy a health potion? Like, in most games you shouldn't care because they drop freely, or you can always get them. I just don't like it. I just don't like that. But anyway, that's a decent look here. That was the very first level, the very first boss. There's actually a lot more going on in Chapter 1, so There appears to be several other chapters. Also multiplayer. I haven't tried that yet just because of the nature of this video game's release. Nobody's going to be around. But, you know, we'll check that out later, I assume.
Yeah, cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, anyway,
Awesome.
Wild Blood, it's a video game, and it'll be available tonight for a premium price. Check it out.